This program is proudly brought to you by Sportingbet.
I'm Nick Quinn and welcome to the latest edition of Australia's newest racing show, Chewin the Fat. We've got a grand show for you today. We'll be joined in the studio by Carlton champion Andrew Walker. Our man Edward Sadler takes you around the traps. We catch up with the voice of racing, race caller Greg Miles. And most importantly, we'll be getting all the tips off Melbourne's hottest tipster, Natalie Hunter. And if you've missed the first 3 weeks of the show, you've cost yourself. This is what you've missed.
I do definitely have one up my sleeve. You mentioned rekindled interest there, and I did have a little spy.
What about Natalie? Who did she settle on?
Nat's gone for a bit of a roughie, the third elect in the betting in a small field, Moonee, basically because the name reminds her of Hawaii.
Beautiful. Well, Natalie said that Cameron White's hair was like a mane, so for that reason only, she's gone with race 7, number 8, Lion Tamer.
For a bit of value, I'm going to go for Fast Clip.
For even better value, I'm going for King Lionheart.
Yes, there we go. And the good news for the punters is Natalie Hunter's sitting right here next to me again today. Welcome, Nat.
Thanks, Nick. Everything is coming together fairly nicely, so let's hope I can continue with my good luck. We've got a massive weekend of Group 1 action this weekend, starting tonight at the Valley, and then Super Saturday in Sydney, and Melbourne Cup Preview Day at Flemington on Sunday with the Turnbull Stakes. So it's going to be a smorgasbord of racing. It's going to be sensational. But between all the racing in Melbourne at Moonee Valley Friday night and Flemington Sunday, there is a game of footy being played at the MCG. And to help us find a winner there, we're joined by Carlton champion Andrew Walker. Andrew, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Now, before we have a look at all the races and that, personally this year you must be thrilled with the season you've had.
Yeah, it hasn't been a bad year. You know, we were aiming to play some finals and you know, get that one win under our belt, a good finals win. And after we got that, you know, we're trying to go all the way, but just a bit unlucky against West Coast. When you say unlucky in West Coast, in the dying seconds, a Carlton player wearing number 1 was about to take a grab and was tackled down and there was no free kick given. Should it have been a free kick? I don't know, probably in the heat of the moment, you know, the umpires, I don't think they can call those, but I thought it was a free kick, but when I look back on it, I think it was Ray Chamberlain, the umpire. I don't think he was ever going to pay it. Not that you're taking it personally. In fact, you still know exactly which umpire it was. Yeah.
So do you go home after a game like that and just watch it on replay and say, you know, and watch what you've done? Yeah, I watched my game back. Probably watched that one incident probably 3 or 4 times, and I had to get over it pretty quick. I promise I haven't lost any sleep over it. And this year's probably the closest you've come to playing at this time of the year, you know, in the grand final since you've been at Carlton. What's it like now in the lead up to the grand final? Was it frustrating, or do you sort of not take notice? How do you cope with it all? We obviously wanted to play in the grand final, and I said to myself I probably wouldn't watch any more football after our game, but you know, I'll be sitting there watching the grand final pretty closely. But Andrew's also got bigger things that you're looking forward to. You've got a baby on the way, don't you? I do. 3 weeks away from having another baby, so that's all exciting. The cork could come through at any time. It's true. Hope you got your phone on silent now. I do. Was that a normal girl thing to do? You know, blokes are talking about footy, you just try and turn it back onto the babies. There's bigger things to think about here. Yeah. One way that you might want to take your mind off the footy is the spring carnival. Do you like getting along to a few of the races over the spring? Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's enjoyable. All my mates back home in Echuca are riding to the races, so they come down and stay, and we're going to have a good day there. What's your favourite day to go out over the carnival? Probably the Cup. The Melbourne Cup's always a beauty, so we'll get there, I think. Being a footballer out in the crowd at the races, do you get a lot of people coming up to you at the races, wanting photographs and autographs? Not really, no. We try and hide away, and you know, it's a good chance for us to have a little drink together. We don't get to catch up much during the year, so it's you know, a really good time to sit down and relax. Once they're out of their sort of Carlton suits and stuff, it's harder to pick them. No, I don't know. I think there'd be a lot of people that have managed to hunt them down, which I'm sure Andrew would say when he's at a nightclub or whatnot. And people... That is true. All right, well, now let's talk about that infamous mark. We have to talk about it.
Well, why is it infamous? It's one of the best marks I've ever seen.
Racing is a numbers game, right? Now, I've looked at the numbers. On YouTube, your mark had 3 million hits. 3 million hits. That is just unbelievable. The mark that won had 30,000 hits. How does that work?
Well, Andrew's probably going to be too diplomatic to say anything, but how it didn't win Mark of the Year, I think, is a travesty, I think would be the best way to describe it.
I think so.
Oh, it was a good mark. His was a good mark, I think.
Do you feel robbed, though, in a situation like that?
Nah, I don't think so.
No. You're happy for him?
I'm happy for him. Very happy for him.
That's a good sport.
I'd say Andrew Cragger's mark was a very good mark. Yours was a great mark.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so too. You've won Chewin the Fat's mark of the year.
Oh, there we go. I'm sure we can get some sort of cash prize. No, there's lots of shaking our heads going on there. Now, with the racing, you got shares in a couple of horses, I believe, with a few mates. How did that come about?
They're the ones I was talking about that come down to the races with me, and we just decided that we'd get a small share in a horse just to sort of get us together. And you know, it's been interesting. I've been out to Caulfield and I've watched it train some mornings, even though it's pretty early. It's try and get out there before training sometimes and watch it. So it's a little bit of an interest. I've got an uncle who's right into the horse racing as well. He's got all the shadows like Shadow Maker, Shadow Park, and I'm actually going to get involved in his next one, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, beautiful. So who's training the horse at Caulfield?
Luke Oliver.
Lukey Oliver's got it there. So what's the horse's name?
It's called St James's Gate.
St James's Gate.
I like the name.
There's one in the Black Book. And one thing you've probably already worked out is how fantastic Luke is with the customer service and the emails and whatnot, keeping all the boys up to date.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And the syndicate group, First Light Racing, they keep us up to date with videos and everything. So if you can't get there, it's you can follow it online, and it's really good.
I've also got a little share in a horse with First Light Racing, and they are fantastic like that. So they're good. So and they're your Echuca mates that you got the horse in. None of the Carlton boys.
No, none of the Carlton boys. I was in with Fevy and Ryan Houlihan early days with a dog, and it went no good.
So you've graduated from the dish lickers to the gallops.
Yes, yeah.
Any of the other Carlton boys got shares in horses that you know of?
Yeah, Mark Murphy's got a couple of horses. Brett Thornton's got a couple. I think even Rats has got one as well. So there's a few of the coaches are involved. So it gets pretty competitive down there. And
when the horses have been going around, have the boys been saying you want to be on, you want to be on? There's lots of tips going around.
Yeah, they are, but they never come through. So,
so the owner's got the pain of the horse getting beat, and then copying that with all the boys saying you've cost me. Now, back to the footy this Saturday. You're just going to watch it from home, or are you going to go to the game?
No, I'm actually going to the game. Get to sit in the box, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Have a few beers throughout the course of the day?
Have a couple of quiet beers, that'll be good.
Who do you think will win?
I think Geelong. Played both sides. I mean, Collingwood sort of smashed us both times, but I think Geelong, we played as good as we could, and they still smashed us. So, not smashed us. On the scoreboard, it didn't look that way, but just on field, I reckon they smashed us.
Finally, you had a great year personally. I mean, at the start of the year, maybe a little bit at the crossroads, little whispers of trades and whatnot, and to come out and have such a brilliant year. Well done.
Thank you.
What changed it around?
I guess just a mindset as well, and being able to play up forward. Had a pretty big off season. I'm just learning forward structures, and just really enjoying time up forward and being able to kick goals, and really loving football again. And
then they threw you in the midfield at the end, and you were just as good there. Where do you enjoy playing more?
Probably still half forward now. I'm looking forward to a season next year where I'm able to go into the midfield, and I've spoken to coaches and stuff like that. And the midfield's where I'm going to play this year as well. So looking forward to that.
Fantastic. There we go. We've got lots of scoops.
Really good. You've got all the hard questions. Thanks so much for joining us, Andrew.
No worries,
and best of luck to you and Cody and Kylie and the new little one.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for joining us, Andrew. You've been a fantastic guest. And when we return on Chewing the Fat, we'll preview the Group 1 Manikato Stakes at Moonee Valley.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
Come and race an outstanding prospect with Pacific Bloodstock. To be trained by Group 1 trainer Mark Kavanagh at Flemington, this colt is by leading sire Fastnet Rock, out of the proven mare Flying Dancino. $6,182 secures your 5% share. Call Pacific Bloodstock on 0430 008 152 or go to the website.
Welcome back to Chewing the Fat. Night racing kicks off at Moonee Valley tonight with the highlight, the Group 1 Sporting Bet Australia Manikato Stakes over 1,200 metres. On what might be a rainy night for punters, the track is a slow 6 with the rail out 3 metres. The highlight of the night is the Manikato, and Edward, I believe you've caught up with leading trainer Peter Snowden.
Yeah, caught up with Peter Snowden through the week at Moonee Valley. They had track gallops there on Monday, and he made an interesting comparison, Peter Snowden.
He's never raced here, but we were able to bring him here about a fortnight ago. So that day I gave him a good look around. He had a good hour here before and after he worked, and just to familiarise himself. But this morning he was good as gold. He just got off the float and knew where he was straight away. He's that sort of horse. He's a bit like yourself, mate. He's pretty smart.
Well, I was quite keen on Sepoy till Peter Snowden compared him to you, Edward.
Why would that put you off, Nick?
No, I don't know, but it is going to be an absolute cracking race, the Manikato Stakes. It's probably the best edition of the race I've seen.
Oh, it is a terrific race. I think you have to go back to the year Sunline was in it when they had the race in mid-August, that as far as the quality of the race goes. And the thing is also that'll make it even trickier is the weather conditions. We've had the storms here in Melbourne last night or so. So I think, and especially with Moonee Valley night racing, the rail position, I think it's not a clear cut as what it may originally seem.
Now with Sepoy drawn barrier 1, they did say he'd be best ridden off the speed, but from gate 1, are they going to have no option but to hunt him forward and have him maybe leading?
Yeah, they probably will have to lead from that inside gate, won't they? Might play into the hands of More Joyous.
All right, well, let's have a look at an early market thanks to Sporting Bet. Starting off with Sepoy, you, Edward, $2.10. More Joyous at $2.80. Atomic Force at $9, Sister Madly at $13, Cool Grinder at $15 and Buffering at $15.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's a nice open race, and if you do like a runner, you're going to get richly rewarded. The main rival in the betting is More Joyous, and I believe, Edward, you've caught up with More Joyous's trainer, Gay Waterhouse.
Yeah, went up to Sydney and spoke to Gay Waterhouse there at Randwick. Speaking of More Joyous, you're happy with how she's ticking over?
Yes, I am. She left here in super condition, and Steve Dennett, my foreman, is down there with her and really happy with her.
And she's got a terrific record first up.
Yeah, she has, hasn't she? She goes very, very well, and she's done everything right.
Look, it's a strong race, and we're in there with some chance. I do feel a little more confident after this morning's work, just to see, it sort of proved to me this morning how well she's come through her first up run, and that she is ready to go again. So this morning answered a few questions for me, so we're really looking forward to Friday night.
Okay, let's have a look at everyone's selections here. Starting off with you, Nick, you've chosen Sepoy. Edward, you've gone for Buffering, as have I.
Yep, hopefully we're good judges, Nat, although that intro shows that you're the best judge in Australia. So
well, great minds think alike.
I'm just following your pattern.
Oh, yeah, settle down. The other big race of the night is the Group 2 Jeep Stud Stakes over 1,600 metres, which has been a very strong Guineas guide over the years. And Edward, you've caught up with some of the connections there.
Yeah, spoke to Gary Fennessy earlier in the week, as well as Leon Corsons, both who have runners in this race. Whisper Downs runs at Moonee Valley in the Stud Stakes on Friday night. How'd he come off his last win?
Yeah, pretty good, Ed. He's no hassles with him. He's been a horse that sort of progressed all along, and he's actually looking better than he did, like 2 weeks ago.
And how's his work been?
Yeah, Dave's been very happy with him. He's not what you call like a hard galloper or anything. He goes along pretty comfortable. But we just expect him to step up now, and whether he measures up to the best ones, we don't know. And
Sabrage goes towards the Staten work here this morning.
That's right, yeah, he does. Look, I think the blinkers are going to improve him, and he just looks to me as if the mile's going to suit. He's getting fitter. He's quite a gross sort of colt, and the timing seems good for him. He's getting tighter and fitter, and he's the sort of laid-back sort of colt that can take the preparation, which is a big thing in the spring, because they're only 3 and only just turned 3. So some can handle it and some can't. He looks as if he's going to. So.
Start of Zabillionaire, how'd he go?
Yeah, Damien was pleased with him. He said he's still very, very raw, very new, and he seemed to think the same as I did, that he'd be a better horse next time round. But everything he's doing now is just on raw ability.
Well, there we go. And Chase the Rainbow, who is favourite for the race, was scratched from Caulfield last Saturday because the track was too hard. Not going to get these problems this week.
No, not going to be an issue. The only issue in my mind, Nick, is obviously the way the track's going to pan out. We're not going to find out until Friday night, though, how that will be. The other thing is, too, the 4 weeks in between runs. Originally planned for him to have 3 weeks in between runs, but with him being scratched last week, it does change his preparation.
Although he was going to go straight into the Guineas, so it might be good, you know, a little run here, get the win hopefully, and then go to the Guineas.
Yeah, we'll have to wait until Friday night to find out then, Nick.
And those punters who like Chase the Rainbow, what odds are they looking at the moment?
They are looking at $2.60 at the moment, followed by Whisper Down at $4.60, Sabridge at $7, Zabillionaire $7, Cute Emily also at $7, and Raviel at $13. So that's the early market thanks to Sporting Bet.
Excellent. So I'm gonna stick with the favourite. I think Chase the Rainbow is just simply going to be too good. If you have a look at the form lines he's coming out of, what did you make of that race?
Well, really liked his last run at Flemington behind Spectre, and he was getting home hard in that race. So I think if he lives up to that form, he'll be hard to beat.
And I'm going to stick with Chase the Rainbow as well. I think he's unbeatable.
You two reading from the same form book over there today, eh?
It sounds that way, doesn't it?
Well, you two last week were, and you two were the ones coming up with the winners, so I thought I may as well join in.
Well, that wraps up our Friday night preview at Moonee Valley. Now let's turn our attention to Royal Randwick for the 4 Group 1 races at Super Saturday there. Starting with race number 7, the Epsom Handicap over 1,600 metres. And what a race this one is. Firstly, let's have a look at the track conditions. The weather is forecast to rain, so the track will be slow to heavy, but the rail is true for the entire track.
And there's some of your horses going around this week, Nat, on the quick backup after they looked after you last week. King Lionheart and Pinnacles.
They are too, but I haven't gone with them this week.
Well, hold that thought. Before we go through the markets and the selections, our frequent flyer, Edward Sadler, was up in Sydney during the week to catch up with some of the trainers.
Start off looking at the Epsom. King Lionheart's coming off a good win.
Well, he certainly is. He's coming off winning the Shannon in really devastating form because he beat his stablemate Fast Clip, who I think enough of to send for the Toorak on the 8th of October. He's really going well, King Lionheart. He hasn't put a foot wrong this preparation, winning 2 out of 2. Tommy Berry seems to have found the key to him, and he'll partner him in the Epsom.
More Strawberries also is in the Epsom and coming off a win at Newcastle first up.
Over the moon with her. And Nash got off the other day, and even though he's not riding her in the Epsom because he can't ride her weight, he got off and he said she'll win.
Secret Admirer coming off a 4th to King Lionheart last week. What did you think of the performance?
Yeah, Edward thought that she probably felt the ground a little bit last Saturday. The ground was very hard. It was very much a lead-dominated race meeting at Rose Hill. Leaders were very hard to run down with the rail being out 6 metres in the fast ground. So, you know, on face value as far as the punters are concerned, it was probably disappointing, but I felt that there was a couple issues that, she sort of had to overcome on the day. So, you know, the ones I just explained, and looking forward to Saturday. Dealer Principal, were there excuses for his performance in the Hill last time?
Yeah, I mean, second up 2000, he was always going to be a bit fresh, but he took charge of Karen and went to the lead and just sort of over-raced, cooked himself. The only good to come out of it was a very good conditioning run, and his work since has reflected that. I was really pleased with his first up run, where he sort of got back and ran on. He's a Group 1 performer, and his work this week would suggest he's getting back to something like that form.
There we go, Edward's got all bases covered there. Natalie, thanks to Sporting Bet, can you take us through the market, please?
I sure can. Okay, starting off with Sincero, who's leading the charge at $4.80, Pinka Pinka at $6.50, Secret Admirer at $7.50, Foreteller $8.50, and Sacred Choice at $11.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a cracking meeting, and this is the best race of the day. Edward, what did you make of it?
I agree with you, Nick, in saying that it is the best race of the day. I think it's a terrific race. I think if ever this campaign, anyway, Sincero is going to be beaten, at least this week, I think it could happen. I'm tipping Sincero. He's drawn well in Gate 1. The wet track, not sure if that's a concern or not, but it will be for some of these horses. Pinka Pinka, though, is in terrific form, and she'll certainly challenge him. And there's a lot of others. King Lionheart's coming off a really good win in the Shannon last week, so it'll be a cracking race.
What do you think about Thank God You're Here? That's who I've gone with.
I'd say Thank God You're Here was impressive last start and one of the main chances, but I think Sincero's just going to keep winning. I think Sincero's a genuine Cox Plate contender, and if you do like Sincero for the Cox Plate, I'd probably have a bet before. In my opinion, he comes out and wins Saturday and firms up in the betting again.
Oh, pretty confident.
Just with Thank God You're Here, though, Nat, he did finish behind Sincero a couple of starts back, and he is a very consistent horse. So for punters wanting to have an each-way bet in the Epsom, I'd be going for Thank God You're Here.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see. Just to recap those selections, Nick, you've gone with Sincero, so have you, Edward, Sincero, and I have gone with Thank God You're Here.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll preview the rest of the meeting at Sydney and have a look at Flemington on Sunday with a great program headlined by the Group 1 Turnbull Stakes. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Chewing the Fat, thanks to Sportingbet Australia.
Sportingbet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sportingbet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sportingbet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sportingbet.
Go Royal at Randwick this spring. Book now at ticketek.com.
Well, punters, if that isn't enough for you, we've also got Flemington Sunday to look at. In what could be a Melbourne Cup preview, the weather is fine, the track is a dead four with the rail in a true position. Now, Edward, I believe you've had a look at this fantastic race on Sunday, the Turnbull Stakes?
Yes, Nick, the VRC conducted track gallops on the course proper Tuesday morning for horses nominated for the Turnbull Stakes, of course, on Sunday. We saw Precedence, Playing God and Shamrocker all gallop pretty well on the course proper. Also caught up on Tuesday morning with Playing God's trainer Neville Parnham and December Draws trainer Mark Kavanagh. December Draws nominated for the JRA Cup and also looking at the Turnbull on the weekend. How's he coming along?
He's coming along well. Look, I prefer to run in the Turnbull rather than the JRA Cup, but we'll wait and see. He very well may be sort of on the ballot list for that. So if that happens, we'll run the JRA.
He came through the run in the naturalism okay?
Yeah, he's fine. The horse has done well and continues to improve throughout this preparation.
Playing God galloped on the course proper this morning. How'd he come through the run in the Underwood?
Yeah, he pulled up well from the Underwood, and he's certainly done well since then. His workout this morning was really, really good. Finished off solidly over the final 600, so he's getting to the stage where he's pretty fit now, and he's had the groundwork, and with a bit of luck with the gate on Sunday, he should be right in the mix.
Well, guys, who are you picking?
It's too early for me to pick, Nat. I think it's such an open race. Obviously, December Draws the standout, given the form he's in and the raves that we've heard about him, not just from Michael Rodd last week, our studio guest, but also Mark Kavanagh, and everyone who has a thought about the Caulfield Cup is talking about this horse. But you look, Southern Speed ran a terrific race behind Lion Tamer in the Underwood. Unusual Suspect, really liked his performance in the Dardo Tan Chin Nam. Playing God's going well. Precedence, I think we can expect to see a return to form from him. Shamrock is in the same boat. I know, Nick, I'm going through half the field here. And the other ones, well, were kindred interest, obviously, in the Dardo Tan winning that. And Glass Harmonium. A gear change, going for the pacifiers, hoping it will settle down better. So that might change how it races.
What about you, Nick?
You and Edward are cousins, aren't you?
We are.
Did he ever come to you with tears in his eyes and putting his finger out with a big splinter in it when he was little?
A couple of times.
Yes, well, he might have the splinters on his bottom at the moment. We're always sitting on the fence here. I think December Draw will win again Saturday, and I think December Draw will win the Caulfield Cup.
Do you? Okay. All right, well, I'm going with Shamrocker.
Fair enough.
I've heard good things about Shamrocker, so I'm sticking with the lucky Shamrock.
Shamrocker is a Flemington horse, so I wouldn't argue with that at all.
Well, we've got the two different sides here. We've got Nick, who putting his head on the chopping block, and me with splinters at my backside.
So you go with
between the two of us, we're in a bit of a strife.
We'll just stick with my tips then.
What we're going to do before sticking with your tips yet again is take a break, but when we return, Edward Sadler's going to take us for an interview with the voice of horse racing in Australia, Greg Miles. You're watching Chewin the Fat.
Go Royal at Randwick this spring. Book now at ticketek.com.
Welcome back to Chewin the Fat, and what a bevy of racing we have for you across the country tomorrow. And the man that will be calling the races in Melbourne, not just this weekend, but the entire Spring Carnival, is Greg Miles. Our man Edward Sadler caught up with Greg for a unique insight into his trade.
Last year's Cup, you summed up Americain winning the race with Trebellin. If Lucas Cranach wins it, have you got some German ready for the race?
I'll have to pull my phrase book out and see what happens. If you've got any clues, let me know.
I didn't study German at school, so I don't have anything to help you there with.
No, I haven't got a Lucas Cranach line. We'll have to, yeah. You know, the internet's a wonderful thing. I'm sure it'll spit something out at me.
Look, really good Spring Carnival coming up. We've got Black Caviar, obviously. What's it like to call horses like her in races?
Fabulous fun. Fabulous fun. Better than calling Melbourne Cups and Cox Plates because the expectation is she's going to win. And she, every now and again a horse will come along that just captures the imagination of people outside of racing. And that's when it is very exciting to be involved in the game. A lot of times we're broadcasting to, you know, people that we see at the track all the time, and it's a regular bunch of people. But when she's out there and playing, it's a whole new audience, and it's great that you know, she attracts the vast masses of people that she does, and it's great fun calling her.
This Spring Carnival, this Melbourne Cup Carnival, will be your 31st Melbourne Cup. Bill Collins set the record with 34. What would it mean to you to break that record in 4 years' time?
Look, when I first started, I thought if I did 10 or 12, it'd be thrilling and great fun. And I've never ever thought that I'm chasing a record. I started younger, started earlier than those guys did, and because I don't know how to do anything else, if I remain employed, I'll beat that record. But I still don't consider myself in his league or in Joe's league. It just seems a bit surreal to me that I've just hung around long enough to be close to their number.
Greg, funniest moment on a race course for you?
I think a long time ago I got a little injury. I was gardening. I don't do that anymore, but in my previous life I did, and I got bitten by something. I had a massive swollen hand, which was quite painful. And we called the club doctor up, and it was a race meeting at Flemington. They were going out for this race, and he said, "Well, I'm going to have to give you an antihistamine injection, so drop your pants." So coming onto the track, I've got my dacks down and learning the colours, and the doctor's giving me the needle, and Joe Brown's walked in and said, "Oops, I'll be back in a moment."
And finally, Greg, horses to follow, do you think, for this year's Spring Carnival?
I think we've got a fabulous bunch of 3-year-olds. I don't know quite which one will be the horse who'll stand up in the end, but the 3-year-olds are great. Atlantic Jewel looks to have the fillies covered, I think, and I don't know about the colts. I think the Sydney colts are better than ours, but gee, they're a good bunch. Wouldn't be surprised if one of them even took the step and ran in the Cox Plate. I like the way Lion Tamer's going, and I reckon Bart's got precedence ticking over very, very nicely. I think he could go all right in the Cups.
Greg, thanks very much for your time this afternoon.
Edward, great to be with you.
Thank you very much.
That was excellent, Edward. Well done.
Thank you very much for that, Nat.
I really don't think that there are many jobs that are tougher than that of a race caller, especially at this time of the year.
It can't be that hard. Edward does it.
Oh, Edward, that's rude.
He's harsh, Nick, isn't he?
Very rude. No, but that was a really good interview, and I believe there's a half-hour special coming up.
You can look forward to a half-hour special, me and Greg, down the track.
Cool.
But punters can look forward to seeing more of you right now, Edward, because I believe you still had time to take us around the traps.
Yep, we went to Moonee Valley, Flemington and Randwick through the week to talk to all the trainers about this weekend's racing. John, looking ahead to Saturday, big day of racing right around Australia. Let's start off looking in Sydney, where in the Metropolitan you've got Trusting coming off a good win in the Hill Stakes last time.
Yeah, he's coming from the weight for age back to a handicap, which probably suits others more so than him. But, you know, they probably meet him 4 kilos better. But to be honest, I don't know, I think he's probably just got that quality on his side, and 4 kilos just mightn't be enough for him.
Strike the Stars runs in the Spring Champion Stakes. That was a good win in the Glaming last time.
Yeah, very good. You know, he stumbled out of the gates and, you know, was well entitled to be running an unlucky second at that point. You know, to get himself together and make the ground that he did and the style that he did was very impressive. And he's trained on nicely since, and, you know, he'll go into the Champion Stakes, you know, ready to run his best race this campaign.
Friday night, you rode Sister Madly from the John Sadler stable.
Yeah, Edward, it's Manikato is going to be a cracking race, and looking forward to my first ride on Sister Madly. She's very impressive, dominating a mare's race, and looking forward to how she steps up. But apart from Black Caviar, I think we've got the best sprinters in Australia going around the Manikato on Friday night.
You ride Atomic Force on Saturday. Are you still pleased, given the fact that you had the opportunity to ride Sister Madly as well?
Yeah, I am. Look, he's in great form. He ran excellent here in the McEwen, and he's holding his condition beautifully. He had a nice gallop actually last week at Caulfield, and also, you know, he worked nicely again here this morning.
Kieran, from a jockey's perspective, how are you thinking about Sepoy?
Yeah, really happy, Alf. He's second time he's been here at Moonee Valley, and as you know, it's good to come here and have a look around before they have their main race, and he felt in good shape this morning.
John Foxwood runs in the Roman Consul Stakes for the 3-year-olds over 1,200 metres. What do you think of his run in the Golden Rose last time?
Yeah, look, obviously it's a good effort. He ran third in some very good horses, and albeit he got demoted to fourth, but, you know, his effort was still there, and you know, progressed on nicely since the run, and, you know, probably back to his pet distance, 1,200 and on his home track.
James, do you think runs in the Roman Consul Stakes are coming off just a fair effort behind Whisper Downs last time?
Yeah, he didn't really let down that well there that day. You know, we've since decided to bring him back in journey and, you know, utilise what we know about him, which is his turn of foot.
And how's he settled back here in Sydney?
Oh, look, he settled in very well. He arrived here late last week, and, you know, he's just been ticking along. He's actually done a couple of really nice pieces of work here, and he should be up to the mark on Saturday.
And here this morning we had Playing God, Precedence and Shamrocker galloping. What was the best in your opinion?
Well, look, you'd have to be taken with the way Shamrocker worked. I mean, she's been totally checked out. Danny O'Brien's stable have had her vetted since her last run, which was obviously out of character and disappointing. But on her work this morning, she's in great order. Playing God also worked really well. They certainly were the quickest of the 3 gallopers, and there wasn't much between them.
Like the Kiwis are doing well. We had Lion Tamer win last week. Could we have a Kiwi-dominated spring?
Well, look, Jimmy Shue looks pretty good horse. I think their very good horses will measure up. They mightn't have a lot of depth there, but they certainly have got 4 or 5 really good horses that are probably going to measure up here, I would think.
Anthony, the best from your team for the weekend?
Strike the Stars.
Older than time.
Great work, Edward.
Thank you, Nat.
Don't forget to be our friend on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or do both, hopefully. When we come back, we'll check out all the best bets for the weekend as well as the roughies, and we're going to head straight to the mailbag. So make sure you stick around. Thanks to Sporting Bet Australia.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first 4. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
Austbrokers Bloodstock. For horse owners, by horse owners. With all the answers to protect your investment, Austbrokers work for you to provide the right cover and the best value. And most importantly, they're in your corner when you make a claim. Austbrokers' business is built around relationships. That's why our clients have been with us for so long. Horses are not just our business, they're our life. Why not talk to one of our team today? Call us on 029 570 8355 or go to our website bloodstockinsurance.com.au. Austbrokers, young faces, years of experience.
Welcome back. Stacks of emails from you this week, and in a minute we're going to read a few, but I want to remind you that every person whose email gets read out on the show today receives a Secretariat prize pack, care of Disney. So you've got the Secretariat DVD there and the book. It's pretty cool. Edward, kick us off.
Thank you, Nat. I'll start off. Chewing the Fat. Love the show and not getting heaps of tips. Like going to the races with mates, but rarely bet on all the races as we like a drink, as we all do. Chewing the Fat makes it easy to remember a few horses' names. Best part is I can watch the show on the boss's time. Don't read out full name and address. Don't worry, Billy, I won't do that to you. Are you guys going live to a venue over the spring? Assume we're in Melbourne, and my mates and me would love to come and get a close-up on Natalie. That's from Billy from Eltham, and yes, that's really where he's from.
Oh. That's nice, Billy. Okay, the next one. Edward, mate, what a gig you have jetting all around getting to the trainers. Suppose having a father that trains helps, but I don't remember that job being mentioned by the careers teacher. Keep the tips coming, they're helping me, and I'm learning to wait for the ones you tip, especially trained by your dad. Yeah, I like getting the inside word too, actually. What is a horse you think might win the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double? Any ideas?
Ooh, very tough. I like December draw at this stage for the Caulfield Cup. And
do you?
I think Woody will have to wait until our Melbourne Cup special on Chewing the Fat to get my tip for the Cup.
Cool. Wooly says, thanks, and neat show, Woody from Sindel. I've also got another one here. Dear Chewing the Fat, I love the show and watch it every week with the wife and kids. And that's from Christian from Frankston. How nice. It's a family show.
Certainly is a family show. This next email isn't too family orientated.
It's not good.
Dear Natalie, just leaving the stars of the show, Edward and I, out, obviously. You are as talented with the tips as you are beautiful. I've won a stack of money following your tips the last few weeks and would love to take you for Fiji for a romantic getaway next weekend.
Is that from Nick Quinn?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Adam from Hamilton.
Oh, well, there you go.
So what have you got to say to Adam?
Oh, well, not much. We'll talk about this after the show. But that is so not an email.
That is an email.
It is not an email. You
so
made that
will
up.
we be seeing you here next week?
Show me the hard copy of that one, Nicholas.
Will we be seeing you here next week?
Well, funny you should mention that. No, I won't be here next week, but I won't be with Adam from Hamilton.
So where will you be next week?
Let's just get on with it.
The fans want to know, Natalie. We can't have them tuning back if the star of the show's not here.
The Flight Centre have just called in saying that their switchboards are going off.
No, you know what? I'm on a special Chewing the Fat assignment next week, so I won't be here, but I will have you two know that you're going to be in very capable hands and you're going to be very excited when you find out who is going to be on the couch with you.
Well, you sounded quite menacing then, Natalie. It was more ominous than welcoming.
Yes, well, you will be very, very excited.
So do I tell Adam you won't be going to Fiji?
Yeah, I think right back to Adam.
Well, if Natalie comes back tanned and bronzed more so than normal.
No, it's a busy time of the year. It's all about work. There'll be no Fiji. Okay. All right, is that all the emails we have?
No, I think that's all I'm going to be allowed to read out, yes.
Yeah, you're done. All right, don't forget all the interviews in full with the trainers and jockeys for this week's racing on www.victorianstallions.tv. Over 20 different interviews there too, so there's lots of viewing. Okay, enough of all of this now. It's time to win you guys some money. Let's recap all the best bets and roughies for the week.
Yes, and it should be a great night racing at Moonee Valley tonight. And in the Group 1 Manikato Stakes, I'm sticking with Sepoy, the good thing of the night. Well, Edward and Natalie, a bit of cousinly love going on there. They're both tipped buffering. In the Stud Stakes, all three has decided that Chase the Rainbow is a good thing. So good on you, Rick or Lacey. In Sydney tomorrow with the Epsom, I'm going with Sincero, as is Edward. While Natalie's picked out Thank God You're Here. The Flight Stakes sees Natalie and I team up and jump aboard Hallowell Bell, while Edward's on Streamer. And in the Metropolitan, I'm going with Tullamore. Edward is sticking with Trusting, while Natalie's going with Herculean Prince. The best bet from our experts anywhere across the country over the weekend. Natalie has settled on Celebrity Girl to atone for an unlucky loss of race last start at Flemington. Edward is going with Randwick Race 6, number 2 tomorrow, Strike the Stars. I'll be going with the Greybeard tonight, Race 5, number 1, Linton. The best roughies for the weekend. Natalie's going with Randwick Race 7, number 5, Thank God You're Here. As is Edward, just working as a team once again against me. Well, I'm going to stick with Randwick, but Race 6, number 5, Rekindled Alliance.
Okay, I really like Thank God You're Here.
Excellent.
Really like that horse. You do too, Edward, obviously.
His form's been pretty good lately. I think the only issue is he runs out into a couple a bit classier than he is, in my opinion, anyway. But look, I could be wrong, and would love to see Thank God You're Here winning it for Pat Webster.
Oh, and I think he should know too, because he does all these great interviews during the week out at track work. So he's the man to listen to.
Sadly, that's all we have time for on Chewing the Fat this week. Another great show today, and Andrew Walker was sensational. And a big thanks to all the other guests who gave up their time to be interviewed by Edward Sadler. So really, it's been a grand day. And speaking of grand, who do you like in the grand final?
That's what I was going to ask you. I like Collingwood. I'm going for the underdog. What about you, Edward?
Well, I'm going for Geelong. Now, just people who are planning their school holidays, if you are thinking of going to the show, beating the crowds on grand final day, I do have some bad news. The show will be cancelled on Saturday. There is no one there to operate the rides due to Collingwood playing in this year's grand final.
All the Carney folk will be at the grand final.
Well, after the Collingwood supporters take aim at you two, I'll be saying Collingwood will win and win comfortably just to keep them happy. Another great show. Edward, I look forward to seeing you again on the couch next week. Natalie, enjoy your romantic trip to Fiji with Adam from Hamilton.
All right,
Nick, when's our trip together? We've got to get a trip, surely. Nat's taking off.
Mate, you've got 3 a week.
Yeah, you're busy enough.
That's all we've got time for. I look forward to seeing you next Friday on Chewing the Fat.
This program is proudly brought to you by Sporting Bet.
This has been a Thorough Media production.